Bom dia, Portugal!
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP.
Good morning, Portugal, and I'd like to welcome you to another fantastic day.
Hey, Gumpers.
Oh, hello. Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal show, a live stream and podcast with a wide map of Portugal right in my Fizzgog there. Let me just sort that out. There we go. Morning to you. Let me do that again. Hola, bon dia. Bumpy starts yesterday and today. Not as bumpy as yesterday when I sat in front of the camera for, 90 seconds, just looking serious and getting ready. Didn't realize that I'd already hit the live button, go live button. Anyway, slightly better start. Still some room for improvement, but we can always say that, can't we? Great to see you this morning, Sen. Then, hola, bon dia, alegria. Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal show, a live stream and podcast, or in a very British way, hola, bon dia, tudo bem, como estás? And let us know how you're doing in the chat, if you will. Now, some of you will be maybe saying, oh, Carl, have you done something with your hair? You look a little bit different this morning. Well, look, the on-air light is back on. Check it out. There, right there behind me. And look at these. Oh, this is like my hair, really. And it's been conditioned. It's all brand new and lovely. T-Duck, top producer T-Duck, thank you so much for sorting out the on-air light and the headphone situation. Thank you so much. Fantastic. I feel complete again. I feel whole. I feel reborn here on the Good Morning Portugal screen this morning with the headphones that people are used to seeing me in, these great big Princess Leia headphones and the on-air light. It was a bit unnerving to be broadcasting in front of an on-air light that wasn't on. So here we are, fully replete and complete and quite right. All the ducks in a row, thanks to top producer T-Duck. So great job, mate. And thank you. Yes, it was great to see you yesterday. Excellent to see you and many other buzzing gumpers at the San Martino de Porto meetup yesterday. Wasn't it great fun? I started my microphone up, my podcast microphone. We use Spreaker for our podcast, and they've got a nice little app that goes on your phone and you can record a podcast. And I thought, I wasn't eavesdropping on anyone's particular conversation. I think I've got me ordering my lunch, but it was just generally speaking the buzz. And I thought I'll just leave that recording for a minute because the buzz was great. The atmosphere was fantastic. And then as I was leaving, I realized I'd recorded the whole darn lot. So I've got to pick out some highlights there. And what I can do is I can play some meetup buzz in the background of the morning show for added atmosphere. It was like a proper sound effect recording. The atmosphere was so good yesterday. Mild weather, a little bit foggy and misty in the bay, but a beautiful day. Not like today. Today, the rain has come back and connects very nicely with our Portuguese saying of the day and the postcard thereof. Thank you to Antonio F for his continued service. Started by T-Duck in the mornings, Portuguese sayings, and then Antonio F picked up the baton and ran with it. So this morning's. If it's a great way of learning more about the Portuguese psyche, as well as the language. It tells you about how the mind of the Portuguese works here. So this is to do with crops. Do you know what dos Santos ao Advento, nem muita chuva, nem muito vento? It's got a nice little rhyme to it, hasn't it? So dos Santos ao Advento, nem muita chuva, nem muito vento. It doesn't completely reveal what it's about, but you get a good sense, and there is a picture clue there as well. More of those at the Portugal Club. I'll continue making those. They are actually literally a postcard, so I might even, with some of the more popular ones, might even create a postcard from that resource there that Antonio F continues to update on a daily basis. His new feature there as well over at the Portugal Club, gmpvip.com for short. Let's close that down for a moment. Go to the timeline. Complaints about electricity companies or an energy company complaint process. I'm with Aldax, and I can't get into their client back office at the moment, which is a bit worrying. We've got a video from talking Portuguese, pronouncing Portuguese words correctly. You'll love this, James. That's a new video there on how to bring the accents.
If you are learning Portuguese, I bet you have wondered how to get those pesky little accents to show up when you're typing on your computer.
Very good. I've forgotten what her name is. It says, am I being rude? I'm being very rude because I can't remember your name then. You haven't got it on any of your slides there. That lovely lady who produces fantastic Portuguese language videos, which are always any language you learn is also a cultural insight, of course, is it not? And the other thing I wanted to mention to you on that timeline is Antonio F. also busy here with criminal facts in Portugal. And he keeps us up to date. Basically, it's like a court report from the newspapers. Remember those that used to tell you what was going on and who'd been naughty? And reports on what's going on the darker side of Portuguese life there as well. So lots going on over on that timeline, including the Portuguese sayings of the day, which I think are very useful for helping you learn to speak the language and understand the culture. João da Norte is in, look! Bom dia, Portugal! He's shouting it from the rooftops. Gabby's in, Michael's in, T-Duck is in, if only briefly. Jacqueline Branco, thank you for your invitation to your organization. We talked about starting associações yesterday, didn't we, with Raquel. Good morning from Gaidash. Jacqueline Branco, I think, knows a thing or two about, certainly, if not starting an association, certainly being part of one, and I think would recommend it. Does a lot of great work in this area on the Silver Coast. Sarah Yerman also in this morning. What's going on, Jacqueline? Are there any good events coming up in Caldas area that we need to know about as well? Do let us know in the chat. And that goes for all your news. If you've got something to share, to say, pop it into the chat or send me a picture, a poster, a pamphlet, whatever. Any publicity you'd like me to share on the Good Morning Portugal screen of a morning, 913-590-303 on WhatsApp. Bom dia, Gumpers. Feliz quinta a todos. Como estão? Said James at 7:50 this morning, and was straight in with a mindful moment. Regular dad jokes will be back, and it's been very good of you, James, to fill in the T-Duck vacuum, the T-Duck shaped hole that's been in the show recently, with your mindful dad jokes as well, visual memes and so on. Thank you very much. Mindful moment then from Henry David Thoreau. Liking these spiritual pauses and moments of a morning. It's not what you look at that matters. It's what you see. And I do like that distinction. It's like the distinction between hearing and listening, isn't it? It's not what you look at that matters. It's what you see. I guess like beauty is in the eye of the beholder. It's all about perception, is it not? Mindful dad joke then from James. What did one mindful meditator say to the other mindful meditator? Are you not thinking what I'm not thinking? Very good. And some visuals from you this morning. And cartoon action as well. I'll check out your chakras, top off your mindfulness levels, and fill up your serenity and inner peace. Nirvana should be ready for you in about an hour. That's going to be expensive, isn't it? Let's take that comment off the screen so that we can give the cartoonist. I'm not sure who the cartoonist there. It's Guru Greg's Soul Repair, Third Eye Exams, Chakra Check, and Insight Enhancement. Very good. Had to drive all this way for that. Good morning to you, Gabby, and good motoring as well. Oh, good motioning. Oh, yeah, we're getting moving this morning because we've got Colin Ross-Jones joining us at 9 with our new feature, Go Motoring. Go Motoring. That's our new building feature, which I hadn't even thought of yet. Go Motoring Portugal. No, Go Motoring Portugal with Colin Ross-Jones at 9. And then at 9:30, Heather will be back. Heather of Boots on the Ground Portugal will be joining us at 9:30 in one of her twice monthly slots. As you can see from the bottom of the screen there's our logo, bootsonthegroundpt.com. If you would like to get in touch with Heather, she'll be here and chatting about what's been going on for her recently. Oh, good morning, Bobby. Wow. What I was going to say a Japanese greeting. Thank you for your Japanese meme earlier on this morning. In the Englishman and the Irishman production thread, we have got great news. We've nearly got a It is a bit of a teaser, but it's a longer length teaser. And who doesn't like a longer length teaser first thing in the morning? That'll be ready today, and I can't wait to share that with you, which really is the backstory, the establishing video of what Bobby and I are trying to do with the Englishman and the Irishman walking into a bar with the great help of Andy Klein and others who've joined in on the fun since we got started. It's amazing, isn't it, what one phone call can do? I remember Bobby and I was sat on the front step chatting to Bobby about the idea of doing some films. He had an idea to make some films as well. And here we are. Several shoots later, we've met some amazing people. We had a lot of fun, and those are coming into production now. And we are awaiting further invitations to other bars around the country here in Portugal. But before you invite us, let us share with you our aims and intentions in this first video, which should be ready today. So I shall be releasing that across our various platforms later on today, fingers crossed. Bon dia to everyone from Jackie the Humble Crafter as well. How are you doing, Jackie? And yeah, Bobby, is that a typo? Or did you mean to say that? And I don't know whether I should be offended or not by what's being said there. And I didn't know. You've got so many skills, haven't you? So a man of many talents, including speaking that language there, which I don't recognize off the top of my head there. Thank you very much then, James, for all your content and your input this morning of a mindful nature. Catch him on a Mindful Monday for some mindful migration. Of course, James Holly, friend of Slug, every Monday here on the Good Morning Portugal show. You sent me a tricky meme as well, didn't you, this morning? Let me see if I can find that. Something about Budapest as well. And I'm sure there are two gentlemen in our community who will have been to Budapest. And that will include Pete and Bobby, no doubt. I think, Bobby, you've been to Budapest, haven't you? Here it is then. Budapest is lovely this time of year. Have you ever been? Yes, I have. But why do they have so many restaurants? They don't want you to leave hungry. That is truly awful. Thank you very much for that. Ow. Sorry, yeah, that deserved a bit of a warning, didn't it, before I shared that? A bit of a whiny tone to the show this morning. No, not like that. I started with a wine map, didn't I? Look, from the top left there, Vinha Verde, down to Algarve, and not forgetting Açores and Madeira. We have got a lovely wine video, actually. If you want to buy a vineyard in the north of Portugal, Vitor has one, Vitor's Vineyard, a great video. He's so good at making videos, is our Vitor Costa. So we've got a new challenge for the wine club, which in about a week from now, just over a week, the 4th of March, that'll be the next wine club. And Garvo, up and early this morning, or early and up this morning, an upstanding gentleman of Al Viagra, as you might expect. He's got a great idea for the next wine club, and you might like to join us for that. So we'll have a look at Vitor's video of a vineyard up in Vinha Verde. I'm not actually sure if it's Vinha Verde, but it started with V, so I thought I'd crunch that in there with a bit of a nice lengthy alliteration for you, and who doesn't like? Let's have a look at his video and some other wine-based correspondence this morning. But before we do, God's Squad tip of the day. Let's work out how to lose those calories before we imbibe them. Bon dia. Carl Munson took grandson to the Tate Modern in London yesterday. You are so good for his education, teaching him how to sprint and now a little bit of artistic and cultural enlightenment as well. So the Tate Modern, in fact, it's quite a lot of exercise involved in the Tate Modern. It's a huge building, isn't it? You can walk up and down the riverbank there and then go to the Tate Modern. I went yesterday for some culture. Not sure he was impressed, but appreciated seeing things he'd never seen before. Boring. But that's lovely, though. How lovely. What a wonderful grandfatherly gesture. It's teaching him sprinting the day before and taking him to the Tate Modern yesterday. Wonderful. So we've sorted our nutrition, says Coach Turner, and started exercising. What next? Rest is just as important as exercise. Thank goodness for that. Make sure you set aside sufficient time for sleep. Easy to say, difficult. It is, isn't it? You see, life is so exciting that for me, speaking personally, I find it difficult to go to bed. There's always something else to look at, to do, to enjoy before committing one's head to the pillow. If you're anything like me, says Coach, I've confessed already, but the coach says if you're anything like him, his sleep patterns are all over the place. Rome one day, Madeira the next, dreaming of the Tate Modern, dreaming of how to teach the grandson best to sprint, etc. on the football pitch. Some nights are better than others. Oh, once my head hits the pillow, Coach. Although that said, me and Mrs. M changed our sleeping arrangements. We're still in the same bed. Don't worry, I'm not on the sofa. Yeah, we've changed the orientation, moved the beds around, and I haven't been sleeping as well as, and I'm wondering if I should say this. Yeah, I'm going to, because she's not listening, and none of you are going to tell her this, are you? She snores, and she's been snoring a lot lately. I've got into this pattern recently of falling asleep and then waking up again, and I'm sure it's her snoring that's doing that, or it's mine. I might be waking myself up, and we blame each other for snoring as well. And we've now got a smaller bed. We used to have 2 single divans pushed together, which I thought was quite a good arrangement. But now we've got a double bed, which is slightly smaller than the 2 singles pushed together. So that might be the adjustment that we're going through as well. It's very cozy. It's very nice. But I'm not like you, Coach. I'm not sleeping as well as I used to. But I feel I need a siesta to catch up. But if I feel I need a siesta to catch up, I don't beat myself up about it. Well, and neither should you, Coach Tenor. A siesta, of course, here in Portugal, a siesta in Spain. And there'll be thoughts and mindfulness tomorrow, which I'm somewhat nervous to give, as I'm a lot less qualified than others on this channel. But it will be based on my experience, and we're all different. Well, if it's based on your own experience and it's owned as an opinion, you can't go wrong. Who's going to argue with that? I mean, we live in a lovely, peaceful world full of social media, where if you just give your opinion and it's backed up by your experience, no one's going to argue with that, are they? And then he woke up, because absolutely, even if it is your own experience and you own it, people still want to pick a fight with that, don't they? What's wrong with people? Bon dia alegria gun present from T-Duck at 8:30. Made it for the start of the show. But has to leave soon. Thank you for signaling that, T-Duck. We'll see you soon back on this screen. Great to have you here. Bon dia from Sarah. Bon dia from Michael Barton, from a rainy Miranda de Corvo, and, of course, from Jacqueline Branco in Gairas, not far from Caldas Da Rainha. Where we'll be going, we'll be talking about our friend Rui Ira from Caetano Toyota, who is also in Caldas Da Rainha, who lent us the Rav4 Hybrid that we'll be talking about with Colin at 9 o'clock this morning. And I want to know what motor you've got, how easy or difficult you've found it buying a car in Portugal, whether you like the new motor you've got, what's good about it, what's bad about it. If you want to let us know in the chat, that'll be awesome. Always room for improvement. That's why perfection is a futile goal. Yes, because not all of us have reached it, of course, James. If anything, perfection is a direction. Now there's a t-shirt. Perfection is a direction, my dear. Very good. And bon dia, Thunderduck from Michael Barton. A personal greeting there. Gabby's in, and the dad jokes T-Duck tells us should return next week. Fantastic. Pam and I, says João Denor, who also said bon dia, Portugal, are off on autobus, train bus, and bus circuit today, just for fun and practice for the real deal in March. Very good. Off on a recce. I was thinking of getting the train into Caldas today. I've got to go. I'm going to Finania, which is my new name for finances. It's Finania. And I've got some social security issues to deal with. So I'm going to be going into the office. Wish me luck as I go into Finania. I might make a little video about going into finances. No, social security. Social security, from memory and from my own personal experience and owning it as an opinion, was the least welcoming government office I've ever been into. And that is based on the experience of one particular woman in one particular office. But she was frosty. And I think she thought I was claiming benefits, which, as a foreigner, I guess, you might argue that she could have been neutral about it, which maybe the bureaucratic code of conduct might ask for. But she was pretty frosty, I got to tell you. It's a few years back. And rather than leaving with a NIS number back in those days, I think I left with a massive wad of paper, which I later discovered was a way of claiming benefits, which I never used. And yeah, I need to patch the switchboard of Social Security in Finania. So I'll be going through into the back of the wardrobe, the fur-lined back of the wardrobe, misses, later on today. So wish me luck. Texting from the bus at present. Fantastic. Love that. Can we have a picture as well, João Denor? That'd be awesome. Of the picture from the window of the bus as well. Or is it a bus simulator? Have you got a bus simulator app and you're on it at the moment, or you're actually on a real bus? You can't tell these days, can you? Got the accent mark thing figured out on my Mac and iPhone. Hold the vowel key down. Open your vowels first thing in the morning. Hold the key down. Choose the accent mark. from the menu. Oh, that's on a Mac, isn't it? And an iPhone be different on a PC, of course. And Jackie the Humble Crafter is in. Did you find those markets, Jackie? Did you review the Tuesday show for those? Jack Polly, stand by, James. Bon dia, meus amigos. Loved your post on Facebook, Jack Polly. You might want to repeat it here. And who's this? Pickle Praggins. Bon dia from Braga. Good morning to you, Pickle Praggins. Nice to see you, Phil. Is that a Phil we're already familiar with, or are you new here? I've been having a lot of those. I'm new here. Greetings posts in my Good Morning Portugal Facebook group. Oh, and there's another great thing on our Food, Wine and Fun Time. Someone's opening a trailer, a food truck, and wants to know which food would go down well. I think Mexican with a few of you might go down well, mightn't it? But I'm getting a lot of these I'm new here, and I know that they're going to be selling, I don't know, pornography or Bitcoin within a few hours. So anyone who says I'm new here and gives me a red rose, I tend to ban from the group immediately. Sorry if you said that in all honesty and authenticity, but I'm very suspicious of people who just put I'm new here and 3 red rose emojis. Antonio F is in, and that doesn't apply to you, Phil. Bon dia from Braga. I don't think we've met, or maybe we have, and I don't recognize the moniker Pickle Praggins, which might be a little prank in its own right there. Is that an American euphemism for something? I'm feeling like I might have been pranked, but then I might have to apologize as well, because Pickle Praggins, Phil, might be entirely genuine. Talking of people who use social media for their own either trolling or spamming purposes, Maria Antoine is here. And sadly, I don't know how to block her. And although it looks like we're being, maybe I shouldn't be too hasty because we're being offered 655 euros this morning. That's pretty good, isn't it? Why are they always so messed up? The other people, yes. If it wasn't for them, James? Hello, hello, hello. Back in Britain, a bit chilly over there. Thank you for your meme, which I can't possibly put up on the screen here, Dougie. And 80 years ago, says Antonio F., same day as today, an English bomber flying from Gibraltar to the UK fell in Serra da Estrela near La Riga. Wow, the 6 crew members are buried in the local cemetery. What a tragic story. I used to live in a park in Sheffield in the UK where a Canadian aircraft fell down similarly. And for many decades thereafter, there was a memorial and people would come from Canada to pay their respects. So a similar situation there. An English bomber flying from Gibraltar to the UK fell on the Serra da Estrela, where I think there's a snow warning at the moment. Definitely the weather has changed here in Portugal. Filomena Pascual, thank you for that, Antonio F. Hola, bon dia, gente maravilhosa. Good morning to you, Filomena. And I nearly said Filometa. The Filometa, of course, is how well you're doing with your Portuguese. And are you, if you honestly assess yourself and give yourself, don't be too harsh on yourself, when it comes to learning Portuguese and culture, are you at number 1 on the Filometa, or are you pushing it at 11? I think I'd give myself this morning a 7 or an 8. Actually, I mean, I'm doing my best here. What are you rating at on the Filometa? I haven't had the time to review the market show, dealing with vets almost every day at the minute. I will have to look, Carl. Thanks. No problem at all, Jackie. Just drop me a line. I think I can remember them off the top of my head. If you want to converse with me on WhatsApp on 913-590-303. Let's play you that video of Vitor's vineyard up near Vinho Verde this morning, and then I'll share with you. We've got Garvo's idea for the next wine club, which will be on the 4th of March. However, for now, here is a video from Vitor, or here was a video from Vitor because now it's disappeared. Where is it? Vitor's Vineyard. I've named it that for easy reference. So able to find it now. And here it is. As soon as it's been processed by the marvelous technology of StreamYard. Maybe it's eye-wateringly big. It's taking quite a long time to process this bad boy from Vitor. Oh, no, here it is. Here we go. Enjoy this. We'll have a little sip of my tea, not wine.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. It's Vitor, your Portuguese ally. Today I'm here showing you a vineyard that we have for sale. I'm just waiting for some people who want to visit, but if it doesn't sell today, this could be yours. It's a really wonderful vineyard. It's not every day that you see something quite like this. Let me turn the camera around, actually. You don't need to see me. So you don't see every day a vineyard that's so well taken care of. This whole thing that you're seeing here belongs to the property, up to those 2 structures right there. This does produce I think we call it biologic in Portuguese. I believe it would be the equivalent of organic wine. The whole place has this auto watering tubes that slowly drip onto the vines. Some of these are new, some of these are 25 years old, and it has 4 entrances that I can remember, at least, because this place is really big. It's 1 hectare in size, and there's one, there's another one, and another one right down there. We do have more properties like these very close to this one. There's one that's about half the size and therefore half the price as well. And we also have a wonderful house that the current owners live in that could be yours as well. So, you know, I'm here to answer any questions. If you're interested in Portugal, I'm here to help. We really have some really interesting properties. And if you like, I mean, I didn't even show you the views. Look. And by the way, you're not really in the middle of nowhere either. Like, you can get to Punta de Lima, which is one of the main areas, in like, I don't know, 15 minutes tops. Tell me what you think. Do you think this is a lovely view or what? Right, guys, that's what I wanted to say. See you soon. Finish. What the button?
I feel your pain, Nevi. Finish the button. That was superb. Vitor Costa, Portugal Door, if you'd like to buy your own vineyard. And wasn't it beautiful, the bird song? We showcased that, didn't we, earlier this week, thanks to João de Norte. Or was that last week? I can't remember now, but we had beautiful videos, didn't we, from Sarah, from Pam, from John, of birdsong, the noise of the countryside. And there it was again, so peaceful. It's a balm for the heart chakra, is it not? Absolutely beautiful there. Thank you, Vitor. Whilst we're on that matter of wine and food and things we stuff in our gobs, this was the request I mentioned earlier on before we find out what Garvo's idea is for the next wine club. This then on we've got a number of Facebook groups. I don't know most of them seem to be fake IDs now of people trying to scam other people. Or maybe they're just scamming each other now. And I don't know. Facebook is a shadow of its former self, isn't it? And I love it in many ways. And I've had so much fun and so many great things have happened to me. And Facebook has been an important part of my life. But really, it's a weird old place now. And with groups and so on, I wonder if it's even worthwhile with the groups. I wonder. We are streaming there now, so I guess that's useful. But it's a weird one, Facebook. But anyway, on that note, question for a friend who's opening a food truck. Now, we can often be suspicious, can we not, of people who are asking for friends. This is Stephen Fern, and I mentioned the name because it is a public post on Facebook. And what an interesting icon there. It's a tree with an American flag. Do you think Stephen Fern was maybe born in Portugal and went to the United States as a child? And the leaves of the tree are an American flag and the roots are Portuguese. Anyway, Stephen asks, what food would you recommend he sell from his truck? This is the one who's opening a food truck business, which he hopes park near the beach in season and then be used for events and concerts as well. Being from the US, I love tacos and can't believe that's not a thing here. Please share your suggestions. What are your suggestions? To stop bringing your tacos over here or to bring some street food from other parts of the world? Do let us know. That could be interesting. And I can pass it on to Stephen, or if you want to talk to him yourself, if you've got an idea, you can find Stephen and his friend over there on Facebook. And our particular group, Food Wine and Fun Times, I think it is. On first, I visit it so infrequently now, I can't even remember what it's called. Right, a Garvo at where were we? We had hold on a minute. Incoming from Philomena.
Muito bem.
Thank you. That's going to be a jingle. Thank you very much for that.
Muito bem.
Muito bem, Carlitos. Fantastic. Okay. The video is ready for the download. The Englishman and the Irishman. Wonderful. That'll be up on our social media channels. Now, where are the Wine Ninjas? Right, the Wine Ninjas. We had a message from Garvo. Next wine club idea. Find a wine with an interesting unusual or funny name from any region. There's one called BSE, which comes immediately to mind. Neil Perkins, you may remember him, was all over this when Garvo suggested that. I think it's a great idea. So next wine club, find a wine with an interesting, unusual, or funny name from any region. And it's like a show and tell session. We don't actually meet up in person. We meet up on a call just like this, a live stream. And then we will show and tell. We will have found a wine by that point, March the 4th, 8 o'clock. And it'll have an interesting, unusual, or funny name from any region. I think that's a great idea. And I'm looking forward already to tasting that. Adios, vou começar as minhas aulas. Oh, she's got to go and teach. Bom dia from Philomena. Muito bem. That'll be a jingle coming soon on this jingle board here, alongside such classics as... And... Yes, and the first suggestion in for the next wine club. I wonder where Colin is. Colin's meant to be here at 9 o'clock with our new feature, Go Motoring Portugal. I wonder if he's having trouble getting in. Hey, look at you, Francis. That's Francis at the Porto Ground, the Dragão match last night. That was interesting. When I was huge Arsenal fan. They did eventually, Porto beat Arsenal last night. I won't tell you the score. I've already told you the result in case you're sorry if that was a spoiler. Francis was at that match. Fantastic seeing Porto and Arsenal last night. It was a great match. It was a really good match. And I won't say anymore just in case I am spoiling that for you, because already you'll be really mad with me if I have, so I won't make that any worse. And Colin should be joining us soon, unless he's overslept. Colin Ross-Jones. I'm just going to send him a quick message to say, are you joining us, Colin, this morning? Because I've only got a 30-second intro, and that's not going to fill 30 minutes this morning. So there we go. That's Colin. Actually, I should send him the link to join us as well, shouldn't I? Just in case he is struggling to find that. So I'll bung that to him now. There you go. With the Wine Ninjas and the wine tasting of March the 4th, the first suggestion to come in, I don't think this is Portuguese, but this is the Jost Vineyards. It just doesn't sound very appealing to me. I imagine they're talking about grape skins here, which is going to be giving complexity and structure in some way to the wine being spoken about there. Oh, yeah, a red wine from Nova Scotia, Canada, made from Caetano, Markel Foch, Leon Milo, Lucy Kuhlman, and it's made from Lucy Kuhlman. I hope that's a grape and not a person there. See reviews and pricing for this wine. It's only got it's got 3.7 out of 5 there on the stars. That is the Four Skins wine, and that is the Vivinho. I think we're going to give that a wide berth. In fact, to be fair, it needs to be a Portuguese wine. We'll be trying on March the 4th at around 8 o'clock with the Wine Ninjas. And there's that wine map again. Isn't that lovely? Thank you, Atlas Lisboa, the wine map of Portugal. And I think it's fair to say we've tried wines from most of those regions. And they have a certain cachet, all of them. The Dow, I think, is quite risky and unpredictable. Douro, how about that, James? And Porto, they're pretty reliable. We love the Alentejo. I think the Alentejo gets a lot of love. Strong and robust wines from Peninsula de Setúbal and Bairrada, full-bodied Baga grape-based wines there. So we have our favorites, and we know some of the characteristics from those various regions. I love that map. Not so well represented probably in previous tastings on the Açores and Madeira. But anyway, join us, if you will, on March the 4th at 8 o'clock for the next Good Morning Portugal Wine Club. Right, let's give him... I'll tell you what, we'll bring him on after our intro, because we have an intro, me and Colin, ex-racing driver from the United Kingdom, from His Majesty's United Kingdom, and all-round good egg. I don't know if you've seen... It's the dad joke equivalent of a sex tape. He's got a tape going round of his most recent European performance on his European tour. And the crowd were a little bit difficult, but it didn't stop him. He kept going. He's a professional, as you'll find out in just a moment, after our new intro into this new feature, I keep saying Go Motoring. That's the building feature. Go Motoring Portugal. Here we go. Woo! Now, I do like the horn on the end of that. Who doesn't like a horn first thing in the morning, eh? Colin, good morning to you. Bon dia.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good morning. You hear me okay?
Loud and clear. Loud and clear.
Good. Good,
Yes.
good.
Don't tell him your name, Pike. How are you?
I'm wonderful, thank you.
Excellent. I was hoping so. Look at you with your Good Morning Portugal mug as well. Yes. And we
Of
had a lot
course.
of fun, didn't we, reviewing our first vehicle, and we'll say more about it this morning. But I think a little bit of the backstory to this, we have been having talks, haven't we? Or our people have been speaking to each other. My people were speaking to your people and vice versa, and thought it might be a good idea to have a motoring section or feature on the Good Morning Portugal show. We've made it happen. What were your original thoughts? Why did you want to make this happen, Colin?
Well, I thought it's a different car market in Portugal compared with, I suppose most of your clients are from the United States, where choice is wonderful because it's the largest car market in the world. So that actual fact is slowly being caught by the Chinese market, unfortunately. But
Oh, yeah, of course.
yeah, but in America, you have big, wide, open roads with a 65 mile an hour speed limit, and your cars are extensively very wide, very comfortable, absolute rubbish at going around corners.
The controversy has started, yeah. But there are.
But they don't have many corners, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. And they've got all the songs. They've got all the best motoring songs, haven't they? Riding along my automobile, oh, grease lighting, and you're burning at the corner of my. They've got all the songs. They've got the culture. Absolutely, yeah.
So when they come to Portugal, those sort of vehicles are basically too wide for the roads. They, whilst they're comfortable, they aren't very good at going around our tight little bends. So they need advice on what to buy in this country. And it's a much different market because there are cars in America that you will never see in Europe. Therefore, they're not aware of it. So I thought we have a duty to help people know what the Portuguese market gives. And to do that, it would have been nice for us to have manufacturers falling all over us to try their cars and promote them. But unfortunately, the only kind ones so far are Caetano in Caldas, who are, Toyota dealers. But the group is the actual Toyota importer for the whole of Portugal.
Yeah. Okay. And for transparency,
so that's where
you're a big fan of Toyota. You're a Toyota owner, aren't you?
I am. Yes. Okay. I have to admit that I put my hard-earned cash into a Toyota.
Yeah, and very nice it is too, because we've got some footage of being in your Yaris. Is it a Yaris GT? Yaris. It's a souped up.
It's a GR Yaris, which means that it's a limited edition. It's a rally car for the road.
And it does actually go grrr as well, doesn't it?
Unfortunately, yes, it does, but it's piped in sound through the speakers.
That's really quite disappointing in a way, isn't it? But
it is. Most people say they dislike it, but
Well, I wouldn't have known unless you told me that. I wouldn't have known. And I'm thinking,
well, there you go.
If you're going to go to the trouble of recording MP3s to play when you put your foot down, you might want the sound of a dragon in the background, or I don't know. You could have other sounds, couldn't you? And people might like to suggest those, or Flight of the Valkyries, or something like that. Can you change the MP3 on demand, or it's a factory setting? Is it
factory setting? And apparently you can't even switch it off. But there are people on forums that have bought these cars that are spending thousands upon thousands of pounds or euros on special exhaust to make it sound nice for the people outside, but it still gets that sound on the inside. So I just don't understand how people can spend that sort of money. Oh,
that's interesting. So Toyota designed that so that the driver would experience that sound more than
that's very
wouldn't consider it, isn't it?
Well, yeah, because if you listen to the car from the outside, it sounds like an ordinary shopping trolley car.
Does it? Oh, that's fascinating. Okay, well, certainly better than. I don't know about you, Colin, and we're going to be going to the electric vehicle show, aren't we, in May in Lisbon, and having some fun. But I'm not. Again, electric vehicles could have any sound, and instead of sounding kind of manly and amazing and beefy, they sound like Darth Vader's mother-in-law whining down the street. What is that about?
Well, it's like somebody hoovering, isn't it? I mean, it's ridiculous.
Or it's not an impressive sound, and in fact, I find it quite an unnerving sound as well. That sort of, like there's RoboCop is breathing down your neck kind of sound. So I think electric vehicles, and they can probably change it actually, to be fair, but most of them seem to make that similar sort of sound there. Okay, so there we are. We did imagine that motor manufacturers, distributors might be falling over themselves to help us fit out and assist foreigners buying cars. That hasn't happened as yet, apart from one marvelous chap who we know. And the most difficult thing about working with this man is pronouncing his name. Everything apart from that has been absolutely wonderful. Working with the legend and man mountain, who is Rui Iga. Can you say that, Colin?
I certainly can say Rui.
It's a good effort. You're not going to get a muito bem from me for that, or for the mina, I don't suppose. But that is Rui Iga, or Big Roy, as Colin might call him, standing in the showroom from where we were able to borrow a Rav4 Hybrid just recently. And I've got some lovely photos of said vehicle, which I think we really enjoyed. Oh, look, Coach Turner was looking forward to. It would only be me singing Fleetwood Mac. Dung, 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 dung. And we can go into guitar song. If you want a Jack Black School of Rock kind of thing, we can do that as we play out. Oh, look, then here more songs coming in. She's real fine. She's my 409. What is that? A Peugeot? It's not the most sexy name for a car, a 409, is it? And I've yet to see a Hummer here in Portugal. That's not going to go down many country lanes, is it? That's part of the problem you were talking about before. But here is the beauty that we were able to borrow. Now, here's a nice selection of pictures. We were a little bit disappointed that day, Colin, of course, because we thought we'd have a sunny day. We thought we'd do some GoPro-style footage, but it was peeing down, basically. So we got some moody shots of the RAV4 on the San Martinho de Porto quay. The review is, we decided we would take to the paper instead. So the Portugal resident column today of mine is a review of this car. And here are a few pictures of it today for you. And we'll talk about it on the show today in our new feature, Go Motoring Portugal. There's us chatting in the vehicle there as we're going along what turned out to be a very wet and windy road. So they weren't the most perfect conditions for showing off the car to all its glory. But quite a good test of its capabilities, right, on that road there. You were driving at that point. What did you think of the handling in these awkward conditions?
Well, it's a four-wheel drive SUV, so it's a solid car with no problems. And as the weather is rainy, but okay, we're both from the UK. We're used to it. It's not like we're Portuguese and we're frightened to death that it's raining.
Is that okay? So we are going to get occasional insight into how you view the motoring style of Portugal, and that was one such example there. I think you prefer the driving style of the UK, even though you find yourself mostly on Portuguese roads these days.
I would say so. Yes, I used to do the equivalent of I did 10,000 miles a month when I used to work for Alfa Romeo.
Did you really?
10,000 miles a month, and I used to see around about one accident a month.
Yeah. However,
here, in the years I've been here, I've been doing limited mileage, for instance, 3,000 to 4,000 miles a year.
Right, it's quite the change.
And I've been seeing an accident once a week.
Wow. Well, there you go. That's from your own experience and a bit of an opinion, as we were talking about earlier on, which I think a lot of people would find it hard to disagree with. There is a different driving style here. And I think the more Catholic a country, my my theory about this, my personal theory, and it's an opinion, is that the more Catholic a country, the more interesting the driving style. You could say more is left to faith rather than driving skill, perhaps, or a mixture of the two. Bobby's suggestion is if you're in Lisbon, if it rains, take the train. I think that's good advice there. So here we are. We were going to go to the Buddha Garden, Eden Buddha Garden. I'm never sure which way around the words go. But what a brilliant venue that would have been to take a few shots. Two reasons we didn't go there. One was because it was peeing down, and the other was because we couldn't actually drive into the place to take pictures of ourselves near massive Buddhas. That wouldn't have been possible. So we were heading in that direction. We thought, let's go to Lourinhã instead, and we could play a game of Spot the Dinosaur. Now, no cruel jokes here, please, anybody. The dinosaur is obvious in these images here, and we parked outside there. What a fabulous place that is, and what a great little contrast, a little bit of visual poetry there. There we are looking at the dinosaur age, and we're in a hybrid car, which would you say is the future? I mean, it's going to go from combustion engines to hybrids to all electric. Do you think that's definitely the direction of travel? Pardon the pun.
I read this morning two articles, one by saying that Mercedes are stopping making electric cars in the future. And also BMW are stopping making electric cars in the future, and they're going hydrogen because they think hydrogen is the future. So we're still in that dilemma here as to what is the future. I mean, you have to accept that the German auto industry have for 120 years been investing in the petrol and diesel models. So they're very reluctant to suddenly have to invest in new technology.
Yeah.
I mean, electric cars were around in 1890.
Yeah, but you had to put a lot of AA batteries in, didn't you, at that point?
Yeah.
You hadn't. That's such a good video. The Mercedes AA class. It's a brilliant.
It is.
Get a chance to see it from Saturday Night Live. Well, that's interesting then. So we've got ourselves in a kind of videotape moment, haven't we? The electric cars now might be the Betamax of the future, where some people have got that still, and they say, "Oh, I'm never going to give up my electric car. It's fantastic." Even though those VHS guys with their hydrogen vehicles came along, us with our video disc 2000 and Betamax are diehard electric vehicle users, and you can hear us coming down the street. That's interesting. Okay, what about auto drive or shared cars? Now, that's another angle altogether, that question from Bobby there. Have you got any facts and figures on that? Do you think we're going to be going automated, and do you think we'll have more carpooling? Because it doesn't make sense for everyone to have their own vehicle, does it, in many ways?
It doesn't, but we are very independent, aren't we? We like to do what we want to do when we want to do it.
No question.
But Tesla with Elon Musk has admitted that they're not a car company. They're going to be a car sharing company. So his idea is the robo-taxi.
Yeah.
And certainly, I think it was Las Vegas or LA, I can't remember. He built some tunnels where you just have Teslas going through and people jump in and they get out the other end.
Yes, like in Minority Report, which isn't the best example.
Similar. Yeah. So,
okay.
The whole industry is in a what will we do? And it takes an entrepreneur like Musk to do something different. All the established manufacturers kept saying, "Oh, the guy's an idiot. He won't survive," and all the rest of it. And now he's the best-selling electric car in the world.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that
and the most profitable car manufacturer in the world.
Yeah. And what did you say? What business are they in? They're in the lift sharing business. Did he say? They're
in the car sharing business, robo taxis, and software industry. They don't pretend to be a car manufacturer. They don't.
It's a means to an end, isn't it? It's a means to an end.
Yeah.
And that's where he's very different from the traditional car manufacturers that you've mentioned there. They were definitely in the business of cars. And I would say he's in the business of data, isn't he? That's been the spin-off from this.
Well, it is. And one of the hidden facts behind Mercedes and BMW sort of going cold feet on electric cars is they can't produce them at the sort of price that and for a profit like Elon Musk does.
Yeah. And the Chinese even more so. And we'll find that out when we go to the electric car show in May, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes. I feel another song coming on. The Beatles could re-record Day Tripper as Data Tripper as the new anthem.
Data Tripper.
She was a data tripper. Right. Okay. Let's talk more about this vehicle then. The Toyota Rav4 Hybrid, lent to us by Caetano in Caldas Da Rainha. There you are. At the back of the vehicle, very thoughtfully. You had 3 very interesting tests for this vehicle, Colin. You brought your tea and coffee caddies. Those fitted in well into the cup holder, didn't they? And then
absolutely.
You wanted some rear end action here, where we can see you, as though you were going on holiday here, which upset your dogs, didn't it? As you were leaving the house with all your suitcases, they
certainly did. Well, I'd only recently, 2 weeks before, come back from a skiing holiday. So, and they this time seem to miss me more than usual.
Yeah, and well, these suitcases were empty. Although when I put on Facebook, we finally, Colin and I are going off for a romantic weekend in Paris. A lot of people thought that was actually true, and I would like to say, for the record, it wasn't true. It was just a joke.
No,
based on the extraordinary capacity of the Rav4 Hybrid, and you can see there. I mean, that passed your test, didn't it, with the luggage?
It certainly did. Yeah.
Okay. And
there's 2 large suitcases there that would get the 23 kilos that you're allowed with TAP, and 2 large carry-on.
And that's the wife's luggage. That's the wife's luggage sorted out, and you can just put your own carry bag of stuff on the back seat.
You can put it on the back seat. Yeah.
Good. Okay. And this is the other test here. You and the pizza. Are we going to do this
Me
with
and the
every
pizza.
car we borrow? We're going to go and buy a big pizza and see if we can get on the back seat with it.
Well, we can alternate what we actually carry. It doesn't have to be pizza, does it?
No, but you got into this vehicle, didn't you?
I did.
If I click on that, and I can't make it go any further. But anyway, you over 6 foot, you were happy with the passenger experience as well, right? So you got in there with your big
what I did was I left my seat where it was whilst I was driving, and I'm 6'2", so I then tried to get in the back behind the driver's seat, and there was plenty of room for me.
Yeah.
So, that's a good test of any car.
It is. Okay, so it's passed a lot of tests so far. We also found out how the dinosaurs became extinct, didn't we? Because they were fed pizza. Please do not feed pizzas to dinosaurs. We fear
it kills them. Yeah.
It was a kind gesture, which backfired.
And then if you give them Coke, they get a really bad stomach. Coca-Cola and pizza, deadly.
It was the end of the dinosaurs. Hear that, human beings.
Yeah.
And then I think next day when I was taking the vehicle back, I mean, aren't we lucky, Colin, to have so many wonderful locations in which to film these vehicles, even when it is raining overcast. So that's me.
Yeah, absolutely.
There on the way back, taking the vehicle back, and to say thank you to this lovely man, Rui Ira, who lent us the vehicle at Caetano in Toyota Garage, which is called Caetano, and they have branches in Caldas Da Rainha, Santarém, and Tomar. And we can give you his phone number if you want the process made a little bit easier. You bought your car through him. That's why we know this guy, right? And it was an easy
absolutely
process? Did it go smoothly?
Very smoothly. The only problem is that the car, it took 9 months because it's a hand-built car, and in the UK it takes over a year to get one. So 9 months I was quite pleased about.
Okay, and some people say it takes 9 months to get served in a Portuguese car dealership. Is that true?
Right. You have to accept that we're not in the United States. We're not in the UK.
Not in Kansas anymore.
No. If you walk into a showroom in Portugal, you can look at cars, you can bang doors, you can sit in them, and nobody will approach you.
They're scared, probably.
They are shy.
Right.
Is the only word I can use for it.
Yes.
If you approach them and say "Fala Inglês," they'll go "Oh, puku," and then have a proper conversation with you in English. Yeah.
Right.
So
They're not pushy. We can take
they're not pushy. They're not pushy at all, which also has the other fact that they don't like confrontation. So trying to get a deal out of them. I mean, obviously, I couldn't get a deal out of my car because it was a 9-month waiting list.
Yeah.
I had to pay full up.
Yeah.
But they're not comfortable with people going in and trying to do a deal with them. They will do a deal, but they're not comfortable with it. So, the habits that we've got in the UK and in the United States, where the car salesman is probably treated as the lowest of the low next to probably an estate agent.
Traffic wardens, those sort of people, politicians.
Traffic wardens, yeah. So they're just nice people here. They're there to offer you whatever you want, but you have to make the first move.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So that's good to know. We've only got about 4 minutes left, and we were going to talk about
it's perfect
what you need in your car. So we'll have to do that another time.
All right. Okay.
That's a very important subject. We could take it to the Portugal Club timeline as well. It's very important because you get fined if you haven't got certain vehicles or documentation.
Absolutely.
Ephemera in your car. You will get a fine for those. So we will cover those in due course. This is the first of many, I hope, reviews and chats about motoring. We've got some lovely feedback coming in. Suze, good morning to you. Colin hasn't driven Western North America's mountainous areas. We have curves and steep climbs, man. So I think you're making a bit of a generalization, which I think is generally true. But yes.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that they have those roads. They just don't have the right cars to drive them.
Oh, okay. I've seen buses go around roads that I wouldn't dare even in a small car. That's the coach drivers going into Caldas Da Rainha bus garage.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's an optical illusion, isn't it? It's like they are members of the Magic Circle. I think you have to have a HGV,
unbelievable.
A PSV,
unbelievable drivers
of the Magic Circle to get in that. Bayhandi, Hola, bon dia, Malta. Been scrubbing out the pool, getting ready for another fantastic Bayradian summer. Look at him, stripped down to the waist with his broomstick there. Antonio F. Thank you, Kylie. There are. Oh, okay, that's his name this week. There are, but very rare, very expensive to buy and keep. Some 60 Hummers in Portugal. Antonio F. read somewhere. My favourite car, says Darren, was the Honda E. Absolutely loved it. E's are good. And what's happened, asked Darren, with the new IMT app and digital driving licenses? Any clues on that, Colin? Or we can
I haven't, because I basically use ACP to do my driving licenses. All you do is you turn up at their office, which locally is Torres Vedras. You sit in front of a doctor who looks at you and goes, yeah, signs off.
Okay.
And they do the process for you.
Oh, I think this is the convergence of digital documents. And we've got some other correspondence about this, which somebody said on a different forum. Good conversation as always. This was on our dream team from last Thursday when I asked the Portuguese professionals whether they were going to be adopting this new carry it all on your phone approach to not just your driving license, but your ID card or another important things. Good conversation as always, said Glick Mathan, because data breaches will always be a reality. I would never consolidate my personal data on any app or centralized system. I get letters fairly regularly from companies and government agencies alerting me to data breaches. I also worry about online access to my bank accounts being compromised. So not a fan there, and not many of the dream team were going to be early adopters of that either. Another bit of news before we look at a few other comments was about the, you know how Portugal taxes people for bringing cars in from the supposedly free market of other parts of Europe. Well, refunds are possible. I also put that to the dream team. This is not a good look for Portugal, is it, to be fining people, taxing people for bringing vehicles in from other parts of the EU? And apparently the little guy doesn't stand much of a chance with that. That's just the big importers who've tried that. It takes forever. So no light at the end of the tunnel for that particular bit of motoring news there. Lots of other comments. This is fantastic. Hybrids don't make sense to me. They have all the elements from both electric and fuel cars and energy regeneration, which slows the car down. It's kind of pointless. And SUV, says Darren, are top heavy and prone to rolling. Would you agree on that there, Colin?
They used to be. I mean, the old Range Rovers were very well known for toppling over on motorways. But, you know, that's a thing of the past.
Okay, all right. So that's one of those things that has dogged the hybrid industry, an old reputation. Like Alfa Romeos are all rusty. Not true anymore.
Yeah.
The car
No,
looks exactly like
true
ours
at
in
all.
America. You can actually fit a touring bicycle in the back. No worries. How about that?
Yeah.
That's good to know from personal experience. The
Yeah,
US.
the Rav4 is available in America, so
Yes.
We started with a car that is actually available in America.
Very
But,
good.
it's not going to be the case.
Before we welcome Heather and say goodbye to you, Colin, the US was solidly on public transport around the turn of the 20th century until the auto and fuel industries illegally began dismantling them to provide and promote individual cars. Interesting. Bought for 26K, and that seems about the same for other similarly spec'd cars. Are you talking about that particular vehicle there? Oh, Coach Turner, you have the hybrid that was 26K. HRV, and the powertrain is great for town driving, not as economic on the motorway, but really easy to drive. Prefer my Cayman, though. Of course you do. And well said, James, to an earlier comment. And finally, from Michael, there's no room in any car for cup holders. That's what cafes are for, Colin. So eat your pizza. So thank you, everybody, for your comments. Small cars aren't safe is another very outdated statement. Yeah, cars are pretty safe these days, aren't they? Relatively speaking, notwithstanding human error. Thank you very much, Colin. So you would commend this car to the house, I take it?
Absolutely, yes.
The Toyota Rav4 Hybrid. And if you want connecting with Rui Ira at Caetano in Caldas, just let us know. It'd be our pleasure to introduce you to him. He's a great fella. And already, since we started talking about cars, other Gumpers have cars that they want rid of who aren't staying in Portugal. So give me a shout. There are a few cars that people would like to recycle, which is quite a good thing to do, isn't it? Because it's come from somebody who you either know from the Gumper community, and it'll be new, and that will spare you a lot of the processes that you would otherwise have to go through. Last words from you then, Colin, before we see you again next month in this same capacity.
Yeah, it would be nice next month for people to pre-ask questions so we can make more content.
Yep. Okay.
Rather than bumble along as we do.
Bumbling along here, don't we? This is how we roll. But yes, if you have any questions, then please just send them to us, 913-590-0303. And it'll be our pleasure to pick up a car issue or two or question with you. And look forward to having a bit of a chat from, I think, a confirmed petrol head, really. You are an old school. You are the dinosaur in that respect, are you not, Colin? You do love
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right, so more about that when we next see you, and I hope to see you soon, probably for some rugby action. Aren't the Lobos doing very well? The Portuguese team are doing fantastically, aren't they?
They are playing England A on Sunday.
Oh, excellent! England A
in the UK. So hopefully that will be on the Portuguese television, if not on the UK.
All right, Colin, lots of love to you over there on the other side of the lagoon there. And I hope to see you soon. Watch a bit of rugby, have a bit of fun at the Welsh Bar. Take care and bye.
Bye.
Off he goes. There we go. Right, and let's keep that applause going. Oh, James loves bumbling with me on a Monday. And bring Heather onto the stage. Good morning to you. Fancy a bumble, Heather?
Fancy a bumble. I'm not touching that one. My mind always goes to the dirty. I know. My mind goes to the gutter like automatically. So
I saw you laughing in the background there.
Definitely.
How are you? What vehicle did you go for here in Portugal?
I have a Golf, VW Golf.
Mm-hmm.
VW, it's like I used to have a Jetta and it was a great car. So yeah, I went the VW route because I didn't know all these Seat and Skoda and all this other stuff, which apparently is all built on the same VW line.
Yeah, true. But you went with brand loyalty. You knew a VW was safe. You liked it. You were happy.
I really like VWs, and I needed something my mom could easily get into because she was tiny.
Yeah.
And so VW, because I had a Honda CR-V in the US, and that was really hard for her to actually get into. She was really little. And so she had to kind of feel like she was climbing in. And my husband had a Bronco, like the OJ Bronco, which was huge.
Right.
So she had to climb into it.
Yeah.
So I went with the little VW.
And happy with it? Was the process of buying it easy enough?
It was fairly easy. Yes, it was easy, because I paid cash and There you go. So yeah, the hardest part was I didn't have my IBAN letter. I had my money in my Wise account, and so they were a little befuddled with that, with the insurance or something. I don't know. I pay like $30 extra or something. Who knows?
But it was fairly smooth. And of course, you advise people on all aspects of moving to Portugal, which might include buying a motor vehicle.
It does. It does. We have a relationship with Benacar that has over 1,000 vehicles, and
superb. Okay,
yeah.
so you can help as well. That's fantastic. Benacar. Okay, that's good. A good note to make. And maybe the three of us, you, me, and Colin, can have a conversation when we cross over next time.
Yeah,
about
sure.
that. That's fantastic. PTPT is what James went for. That's Portuguese public transport. Very good. It's working well so far, and it is a great choice, no question. If you live in an area where you are well served, it is one less thing to worry about, having the motor vehicle. And hiring a car is fairly straightforward in Portugal. So when you need one, if you need to get somewhere a little bit off the beaten track, you can just go hire and otherwise use public transport. Good call.
You know, a lot of people want to have the kind of fairy tale idea of no vehicle in Portugal, and that's cool. Like if that's what you want. But I feel like in our area, for sure, Silver Coast, you know, you miss so much of the beauty without that convenience, and with it, you know, you can rent one, of course, from time to time, but man, don't take my car away from me. That's all I have to say.
Well, it's interesting here because the vehicle, as we found out from Nuno on occasion, is and find Nuno, of course, in the Expats Portugal business directory for any aspect of insurance here in Portugal, including motor insurance. But it's the vehicle that's insured, isn't it? So it's not the driver.
Yes,
so
right.
Portuguese people lend each other cars much more readily than people from the United States or UK. Although it's not. I mean, I'd be happy to lend my vehicle. You know, we've got a really old, beaten up Skoda, which has been fantastic for us, and we're given it. And I'd be happy to lend it to people, but I don't think like that. I'm not from a culture where it just said, "Here, have the keys." Portuguese people are. Lots of Portuguese people have lent me their cars, and they're very happy to do so. have you got into that mindset yet, or are you a bit more protective in the US?
If we're driving to Lisbon, I'm really happy when my girlfriend wants to drive, or because I don't like the stress of driving. So usually, you know, but that's not lending because I'm still in the car, you know.
Yes.
The thing is, we only have one car, and we live in the country, and you know, I'm still taking care of my dad. You know, he's in assisted living, but trust me, at 2:30 a.m. last night when I got a call from assisted living and had to go there, you know, so very much, I need a car. So I'm much more protective of the vehicle because of that, you know.
Fact. You are, yeah, of course. Everything okay with Dad?
He's okay. He had a fall, and he didn't have his little emergency beepy, and I'll have to go over there and check him out. But we went over there last night. We helped get him into bed, and she wrapped his arm up and whatever. So I'm sure he's very sore today, but I don't think anything was broken. He didn't hit his head and all that. So he's okay. But you know, people think, you know, because he's in assisted living or whatever, you know, it absolves you, but it certainly doesn't. Like, there's plenty to do and plenty of responsibility, and getting his meds every month is like a big deal in Lisbon.
Yeah, and if you can, you go over, don't you? You hear about a little accident, a tumble like that, and you want to go over and make sure everything's okay. Of course.
Well, last time they called 112, and he ended up in Caldas Hospital for, you know, and that's a whole nightmare. And so I basically told them, don't call, don't. Like, if he needs to go to the ER, we'll take him to Lisbon, you know, or Torres Vedras or whatever. We'll take him, but please just don't, if at all possible, because it's a harrowing experience. And so he didn't need to, and wasn't, you know, the best thing was to get him in bed, get him cleaned up, give him a pain pill, and let him sleep. So now this morning we can deal with it. So anyways, but the gal needed help because he's a big man, and you know, she's there taking care of 60 some people, and overnight, you know, there's a skeleton crew for that. So Yeah.
Wow. Another insight into another aspect of living here in Portugal, assisted living for oldies there, which you know all about, Heather.
Yes.
You've done so many things here, haven't you, in the short space of time you've been here, and you can speak from your personal experience and professional experience of so many of these things. So yeah, good luck. Lots of love to your dad. And for a speedy recovery from that. But these oldies, they will go skateboarding or whatever it is they do in the middle of the night, won't they? They're monkeys, they really are.
He took a shower, and he should be doing that during the day when
Yeah,
they give
that's right.
showers and
Yeah.
somebody is popping in and out, and or will sit in his living room and make sure he's safe. So
Yes.
yeah, no, it's all about authenticity, isn't it? It's all about your authentic experience, and sharing that, and sharing your knowledge and your information.
Yes.
And I think that can't be underscored, especially as things come to light that are not so authentic or not so transparent.
To what are you referring, Heather Binder, this morning?
So I'm not going to use this person's full name because there's laws and things that I respect.
Oh, where are you
Portugal.
taking me this morning? Okay, this is not a Bumble. This is something very different this morning.
No.
I think it's fair to say you've had a lot going on just recently, not least of which is some friction online. Is that right? Is that what we're referring to here?
Well, it's not really friction. What it is when people slam businesses and other people that they are lying as having bad experiences or whatever it may be. And this is not at all just about me by any means. You really have to call into question what that's about and who those people are.
Yeah.
And there happens to be a very, very, very well populated, known group of Americans in Portugal on Facebook that has a very well-known and very feared, by the way, leader, admin.
Sounding like a cult already.
Yeah. And so I had said this last year because I had figured this out, that there's a profile out there. And this person, Susan K, this person is her cat on a different profile with a woman's picture.
Yeah, okay.
And
I've got one of my cats has his own Facebook page. But
that's basically what it was, because there's proof of this going back like over 10 years or something. And so there's this profile, Zoe Somerset, which is fake, and it's fake. And the funny thing about this is this profile slams authors, businesses, all sorts of everything that doesn't play into her financial benefit, which she denies.
Tell me this isn't so. Not in Portugal, please. This is what we expect in other countries, isn't it?
We want to get rid of the competition. So conveniently, people like myself and many other people were banned for doing nothing. Right. And the funny thing is, apparently that means I'm doing well in my business, because apparently that means I'm a threat in competition. Yeah. And this person does quite a job directing people to another business that's legit. Okay. And, the thing is, don't lie. Don't be not transparent. Don't break the Portuguese laws of defamation and slander. And then turn around and guilt and everything else and slam a bunch of other people.
Maybe.
For speaking, for asking a question, which we all know is what happens. So anyways, I just think that the reality is people should be aware. And a lot of people think I should just shut up, but you know what? You don't know Heather Binder very well. I know the time and place to to hold my tongue, if you will. Yes. But I will say that, I'm holding my tongue, trust me. Okay. But if you're going to slam all kinds of businesses over several years and ban people and have this exceedingly powerful group, then stop lying and stop hiding.
Yes, and then this comes in a well. That sounds like your world just recently, and I'm very sorry to hear that because
No, it's not my world at all. I do not live in that. I don't live in
Let me
scarcity.
rephrase that. That's
Yeah.
it's come into your world just recently. You've had to deal with
No,
this.
no, it's been around. Trust me. This
Yeah,
is
no,
not a new
I'm
thing.
not doubting you for one moment.
Yeah.
I'm saying I'm sorry that you have to experience this when all you really want to do is be getting on with helping people move to Portugal.
I
in
want
your
peace.
way, right?
I moved here for peace. I live in the country. It's beautiful. It's peaceful. I
Yes.
love it. I
Yeah.
like to have fun. I like to build community. I like to help people. I like to help
Yes.
animals. These
Yes.
are my passions. This is what I do.
Yeah.
But when people get in the way of that are full of crap, yeah, I'm gonna call it.
Yeah, you called it, and I've noticed this. And what saddens me about that is we've been talking about collaboration on the show. It's been a theme throughout this week, and I think we're perhaps the most collaborative community in when it comes to dealing with Portugal. Because
I think you are. I think I am. I promote that. We've talked about that many times. Some of the synergy we have with that. You know, it's fine to make money, and obviously we all have to pay bills and make a living, and that's fine. But just be transparent, like you are. You have people can support you. People can join and support you. You know, and obviously I sell relocation services and consulting, visa stuff, all of this, and I give away. Though I also give away things of value, and that's all fine and well. It's very clear cut. Prices are on my website. Like, I just don't BS. And it's sad because there's really good professionals here and we do have synergy. And if somebody wants to compare, trust me, people compare me all the time to many other services here, and that's fine. I have plenty of clients I please and make happy. And it just would be nice if we could grow up and not be in high school with this like BS.
Well, that is what saddens me. Is that I don't see that as a Portuguese ethic. I think, and I've written about this actually. My next week's Portugal resident column is there's a line in it I wrote that I was quite pleased with. That like dealing with in Portugal, I think the Portuguese people use conversation when it comes to conflict and discussion when it comes to discourse. And I think as awkward as that might be, it's quite important to, people have a reaction to this, but then there are different avenues to explore once that's happened, aren't there? In some cultures, and American culture, it might be, well, I'm going to sue those people. I'm going to block them. I'm going to sue them. I'm going to,
right.
What's cease and desist and all of these legal things.
I've already been asked if I'm going to sue and this person and that and that, and it's like, let's just go by public acknowledgement of the information. That is far more pleasing to me because you know what? People put stuff out there and I don't even hide it, because if you're gonna put yourself out there with a bunch of BS, so be it. But you're totally right. The Portuguese are much more about having actual discourse, and therefore they have to stand behind what they're saying. And they can't do this screen warrior crap where, I'm going to ban someone and I know everything and go look in the files and, Jesus.
Yeah, I agree with you. And no one's going to sue anyone here because it takes 27 years to get to court. It just doesn't happen. That's another reason.
I have someone harassing me and they're in Thailand.
Yes.
And they're saying they were a client and they were never a client of mine, And so, it's like, how do I have all 5-star reviews? If you really wanted to slam me, you would be a vetted reviewer, but you're not, because you've never been a client and you're contorting many, many, many facts. And I've been advised to actually bring legal action, but then I've got to find a private investigator and find these idiots in Thailand.
Who wants to live in that world? Isn't that the world you left to come and live in Portugal for?
Yes and no, because my gardeners are GNR and I'm surrounded by GNR. Don't forget. So I'm tempted to have my GNR neighbors over for a little coffee and a little conversation about a thing or two.
Chat about how this might work. Yeah, and that to reiterate, that's what saddens me. As I'm thinking, don't bring that here. Please don't bring that here. Figure it out. I think collectively we're entering into the age of collaboration, because quite honestly, if we don't, we're screwed.
We're screwed. Yes.
And also these are the qualities, and I use the word loosely, quality. These are the qualities of a different world, of a dying world, I think. And, I'm hoping that, like you say, everyone's got to make a living, everyone's got to eat. But I think our best prospects lie in collaboration and creativity and connection and networking.
And authenticity. Authenticity. Like, just
talk to people, see who you want to work with. There's no time for us bad mouthing and blocking and banning other people. And it's tempting. It's tempting, isn't it? We get riled up, we get emotional, and we want to take those sort of courses of action. It's not a good way. Not a good way.
It's more than that when it's affecting your business and your livelihood
and your reputation.
One thing, your reputation. All I have is my reputation. That is it. Yes. Okay. And I've been a real estate broker for almost 30 years in Arizona. I've been working here for several years, going on almost 3 years now. And all I have is what I stand for, who I am. That's it. At the end of the day, that's the representation. And if you're going to slam that, then that's a real dangerous slope. And it's just evil. It's just evil.
And it is literally,
I'm taking care of, when my mom died, but I moved here to care for my parents and keep them out of a Medicaid home in the US. And believe me, that was not the only impetus. Kevin and I wanted to move to Portugal. We just thought it was going to happen much later in our lives. Yeah. But it's like how mean are you?
Yeah.
It's mean girls. It's mean girls.
Mean girl business. We don't want that here. We don't want that here. Leave it at customs, please, or border control, or don't do it. I mean, let's see an end to that all over the world if possible. Seems to me that collaboration would be so much better, says James. Not to mention karma building. And,
yes.
James urges you to live your passion, care for your father, and if your business is struggling, ask someone who is achieving what you want to achieve, and that willing person's business will grow as well. Now, your business isn't struggling as far as I'm aware. The problem is that you're doing very well, and this is a very unnecessary distraction and undermining force whilst you're just trying to get on with your job, Heather.
You know what? I work by referral. I have not gone out and spent a bunch of money on ads. Nobody wants to be advertised to. People don't want to be sold. I don't want to sell. I don't want to do that. I don't want to have to figure that out. I want to work by word of mouth referral, and that's where I get my business. This group was very powerful, and I did get a majority of clients that way because my own clients would comment and would say things about my service or about myself, etc.
Well, they get banned.
And being banned since my birthday, October 2nd, was, a very shocking thing. Plus NHR also happened on the same day. So my birthday was a little rough this year, or last year, I should say. So I'm the first to admit how powerful that was. And when you get banned from that group, they go back and they take every mention of you, every referral that anyone's ever given you, or compliment or anything, and they delete it.
Facebook does that. If you block someone, I've got that with some of the difficulties and communication breakdowns I've had on Facebook. I know it's funny. I think it's a historical thing because there are people who do speak to me now, but have blocked me on Facebook. Who I'm having a conversation with someone, and I can see other people's answers to them, but I can't see them. It doesn't make any sense to read it, does it? But anyway, this is a silly world, and we want very little of it. And I think we should have a little palate cleanser now, maybe remind people what it is you do so well, and what's cooking at the moment. What's the flavour of the moment? Boots on the ground, Portugal.
We have some big thoughts in mind. Where the website redesign is very close to being launched. It was supposed to be launched beginning of the year, but thanks to those couple of things that happened, and HR in particular, a lot of and changes in processing, how they're processing income, caused us to have to go back and talk to all our clients and revamp some things. So needless to say, I'm behind schedule in that. But yeah, we have some great ideas. We have some great community building and some new visa packages, a way that we're packaging our services, because it's very much not just visas. It's very much community and taking you all the way from the very, very beginning thoughts of, does this make sense? And I'm the first person to tell you if you don't have enough money to move to Portugal. I will 100% tell you that. It's not about, selling visa packages. It's about making people here that come here happy long-term and having them really understand the different perspectives and see it from an American, Canadian type of view. And so yeah, ultimately, I think Boots on the Ground Portugal has a lot of good things on the horizon. And we do have a great reputation and 5-star ratings, Trustpilot, all of that. So, at the end of the day, I stay focused, and I focus on not scarcity, but, abundance. We have to bring that abundance.
Collaboration. Well, and a good example of that is you and I, on one level, could be seen to be running competitive enemy meetups. You've got your meetup in Caldas.
Enemy meetups.
That's right. I've got mine. Don't go to Heather's. Come to mine instead. And it was very interesting. I think you had a very successful meetup in Caldas the other night, and
we did again. Yes.
Yeah, and I was talking to somebody new who came to my meetup. I'm not going to tell you their name just in case you take them away from me.
I'm going to steal them from you.
Right. Well, Danny, it was great to see you, Danny. As we were leaving, he said, that was great. I enjoyed it. And I enjoyed speaking to that person and that person. And he said something along the lines of, you don't do any introductions or, I think in his mind, he thought meetup meant, people might stand up and do, that BNI network.
Yeah, a lot of times people think that it's a sales thing, or you have to be a client or a past client.
How do you do your meetups?
No.
Do you have any announcements or anything like that?
No, I introduce people.
Right.
And just introduce people. That's all. And I have done name tags in the past, but honestly, it hasn't happened in a couple of months. But that's just more life and whatnot. Name tags are nice, and they help me because I'm having to remember like 20 people's names.
Yeah.
So I do like name tags. But that's it, and some suggestions of like icebreakers and all this other crap has been out there. But I find that people do the best having authentic conversations and getting to know each other. And we've had amazing synergy. I've had some people come, not to this past one, but the one before, that were looking for an apartment. Clients of mine wanted to meet me in person.
Yep.
And they befriended another couple that was there. And then that couple took them out for the next day or two and had food with them and toured them and, just had and that was like so beautiful. And so they're friends. They're moving here and they already have friends. And that's honestly my goal, is that people have support systems that are not just me and my company and, my local partners, but that they actually create relationships, because that's going to be the key to taking care of yourself as you age and also, happiness and wanting to stay here and building your own life, because that's what you have to do. You have to build your own life.
So true. Well said. I mean, another key theme this week, it seems, as well as collaboration, is the idea that was put to me yesterday by Stephen White of the Silver Tsunami. And what he said yesterday, Heather, and you'll be interested in this, I think, is that we haven't seen anything yet. You know how some people are thinking this is peak migration to Portugal now. It's not.
Right.
Would you agree with him that it's not? He's
100%. This is a little teeny slice.
Right.
And you haven't seen anything yet. The growth potential is really there, and we're considering, how that works and how to be good immigrants and how to work well within Portugal and how to get rid of all this negativity crap that's everywhere.
Well said. And I do like it, the collaboration, the cultural aspect. And this is what you've seen, isn't it? Is that it's not enough to just say, there you go, you're in Portugal. It needs to be thought about in a much wider, broader, deeper way.
Yes.
Right?
And we help people, all the way through to their driver's license. We work with our clients for like 2 years. Okay. Yeah. And we provide all sorts of consulting and stuff like that. And the reason for that is because people need help. People have questions. People, you feel like a dum-dum, you know, and that's not cool. So you need that support and you need that help. And 100%, if Carl, if you and I are not helping people build these relationships and build this community, who is? Because it's not, you know, who, Americans and twats. It's not, you know,
because not over it just yet, but understandably so as well. Have a great day, says Andy. We're 10 o'clock, Heather, going for my walk now. Ciao, Bella. See you later, Andy. And good morning to you, Eliane Lobsch. We've got a lovely little bit of video from the train in Vigo, where John and Pam are out on their recce this morning. So thanks, Heather. What an interesting conversation we've had this morning. But the big picture is, you know, we're looking at this, in that big picture way. It's about community, it's about collaboration, it's about connection. And I think for people to have for the silver tsunami surfers of the future, these are very important things. It's the soft stuff, isn't it? And we focused a lot on the hard stuff, the factual stuff, the bureaucratic stuff. And this other piece, you could argue, is much more important, really, because although it's a little bit nebulous and it is the soft stuff, and it's the personal and it's the intimate and the authentic sort of aspects of us humans connecting with each other, it's very important for the longer term. So last word to you then, and perhaps an invitation from you, Heather Binder, on this interesting morning.
An invitation? Well, I invite, I look to build community because I'm tired of the egomaniacs out there. And they are egomaniacs. We know this. So anyways, I'm looking for ways, and I would just recommend people be open to that concept and think positive, because not everybody out there is trying to blow smoke. And sometimes we do just genuinely want to share information and be helpful. If you want to partake in our support in our services, awesome. But by no means is anything required. In fact, I do a free half-hour consult. So
and you're here twice a month as well, answering questions. You are available to the public twice a month here. Answering
not even twice a month. Anytime somebody wants to schedule with me, they go to my website and schedule a free half-hour chat. And so you're going to get information. It will benefit you.
Nice one, Heather. You take it easy.
Awesome.
And lots of love to Dad. And all the best to you. And we'll see you again soon. We're going to go on a little train ride now. So take care, Heather, and everybody all aboard. Woo! And we'll see you tomorrow for some Feel Good Friday fun. Ciao, ciao.